Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, imagine this. You've just launched a huge digital marketing campaign, maybe multi-million-dollar level. You're watching, waiting for those sales, but hours go by and it's quiet. Too quiet.
Hmm.
You get that sinking feeling, right, that something's broken, but your standard reports, they won't show anything until tomorrow morning. By then, you could have burned through thousands, maybe tens of thousands, on ads that just aren't working. We're all drowning in data these days, but the real question is, how do you pull out that critical signal, that one piece of information, the moment it actually matters, before it's too late?
That really hits the nail on the head. The specific issue we're tackling today is exactly that, how a campaign's performance can just suddenly nosedive, completely out of the blue. And that leads straight to wasted budget, missed targets. What you need isn't just a backward-looking report, it's the power to act now, based on what's happening right now.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about. We're looking at a real-time system built specifically to detect and, crucially, alert you the second campaign performance dips below where it should be. It focuses on those key user engagement metrics. Think of it like a super sensitive radar for your marketing spend, instantly highlighting the vital signs from that massive flood of raw data.
Right. So for you listening, we're going to walk through this. We'll cover what exactly are these alerts telling you, the tech underneath, the data flow that makes this real-time alerting possible. And maybe most importantly, the why it matters, the real-world difference this makes. The business value you unlock by shifting from, well, reacting late to acting proactively.
Okay, let's really unpack that core problem first.
Yeah.
Knowing when a campaign isn't hitting its marks, what are those early warning signs we should be looking for? What specific metrics give you that critical heads up? We're talking about the basics, right? Impressions, clicks, conversions.
Yeah, the fundamental building blocks. Impressions, clicks, conversions. And then the ones we derive from those, like click-through rate, CTR, and conversion rate, or CVR. These are really the pulse, the heartbeat of any digital campaign.
And the standard way is just waiting for the daily report, which feels, well, slow.
It is slow, and that's the whole point. Traditional reporting, getting yesterday's numbers today, it's just not good enough when you're actively spending money second by second.
Yeah.
The real value here, the game changer, isn't just knowing faster. It's about fundamentally changing your approach, moving from that reactive, okay, what went wrong yesterday, post-mortem, to a proactive, hold on, something's off right now, let's fix it, live intervention. Imagine stopping a campaign bleeding money for hours just because you got an instant flag. That's the shift. The system works by triggering alerts when performance drops below defined thresholds. That makes the insight immediately actionable right now.
Okay, so speed is key. Where does this real-time analysis actually happen in the data flow? Where are these metrics being calculated so quickly? What we've seen is it often takes place in what's called the silver layer. This is where those aggregated campaign metrics get computed using really short time windows, like, say, every 5 minutes.
Exactly. The silver layer is where the raw, messy data gets refined into something structured and useful. You can think of it as a reliable table, maybe a delta table, where these aggregated numbers, total impressions, clicks, conversions for each campaign within that 5-minute window are calculated and stored. This is where the KPIs are actually born, giving you that clear, up-to-the-minute snapshot.
And once you have those calculated metrics, like CTR for the last 5 minutes, the logic for checking them seems pretty straightforward.
Oh, absolutely. The threshold logic is essentially just a simple condition check.
Yeah.
You set a rule like, alert me if CTR is less than 1.5%. It's a clear benchmark. Is performance above this line or below it? If it's below, we need to know.
So it checks that condition, say CTR 1.5%. If it's true, what happens then?
That's the alert trigger. When that condition is met for a specific campaign in a specific 5-minute window, a record representing that alert gets generated. It's passed immediately to the alerting logic. This usually logs the event, sure, for tracking, but crucially, it's set up to notify downstream systems. That could mean pinging a monitoring dashboard, sending a Slack message, triggering an email, whatever gets the right eyes on it instantly.
Right. So just to paint a picture of what that output looks like, you'd see, for a given 5-minute window, maybe window start and window end times, the campaign, let's say CME 101, then the impressions, clicks, conversions for that window, and the calculated CTR and CVR. So you might see CME 101 had a CTR of, say, 1.2% in the last 5 minutes, which is below our 1.5% threshold.
Exactly. That level of detail, refreshed constantly, is what allows marketing teams to react so much faster than they could before.
Okay, let's pull back the curtain a bit more. You mentioned delta tables. To understand how this system stays reliable and organized, it helps to look at the typical Delta Lake architecture. Usually, data flows through distinct layers, right? Often called bronze, silver, and in this case, a specific monitoring layer for the alerts.
That's right. This layered approach is really key. It's not just about neatness. It's fundamental for managing data quality, ensuring reliability, and making sure the data smoothly transitions from its raw state to something genuinely actionable.
Okay, let's quickly walk through those layers. First up, the bronze layer. This is like the initial drop zone, yeah. This is where all the raw event logs land, every single impression, click conversion straight from the source systems. The schema here is usually pretty detailed: campaigned, event time, user id, event type, maybe channel, region. It's everything, but it's unprocessed.
Correct. Raw, unfiltered. Then comes the silver layer. This is where the transformation happens. It takes that raw bronze data and aggregates it. So instead of individual events, you get those summarized KPIs for each campaign within those specific time windows. The schema here would look like what you described earlier: campaigned, window start, window end, impressions, clicks, conversions, and the calculated CTR and CVR. Clean, aggregated, ready for analysis.
And finally, the monitoring layer. This is specifically for the alerts themselves.
Yes. Think of it as the logbook for problems. When the system detects that a campaign's performance has dropped below a threshold in the silver layer, an alert record is generated and stored here. This record captures the essential details: campaigned, the exact alert time at which metric triggered it, like CTR, the value it dropped to, the threshold it breached, and the alert type, maybe performance drop.
Got it. So bronze for raw input, silver for cleaned up, aggregated metrics, and monitoring for the actual generated alerts.
Precisely. And this structure, moving data through these well-defined stages, is what ensures everything is reliable, traceable, and ultimately ready for quick, decisive action. It's like a data refinery, really.
Okay, we understand the layers. Now let's trace the actual flow. How does a single raw click event eventually trigger one of those performance drop alerts? It starts with ingestion, right?
Right, the streaming ingestion part. Raw events, maybe from ad platforms or weblogs, are flowing constantly towards your cloud storage, often as JSON files. A tool like Autoloader is often used here. It's designed to automatically detect new files arriving in cloud storage in near real time without you needing to manually list them. It efficiently picks up this new raw data and streams it directly into that bronze.campaigned events raw table we talked about.
Yes.
That's the first step, capturing the raw stream.
So autoloader handles getting the raw stuff into bronze reliably, then what? How does it get aggregated?
That's the aggregation logic. A streaming query reads from the bronze table. It takes that stream of raw events and applies grouping logic. It groups the events by, say, 5-minute tumbling windows based on the event timestamp, and also by campaigned. Within each of those groups, each campaign within each 5-minute window, it counts the number of impressions, clicks, and conversions. Then, right there in the stream, it calculates the CTR, clicks impressions, and CVR, conversions clicks. This continuously computed, aggregated data is then written out to the silver.campaign metrics table. Okay, so Silver is constantly being updated with fresh 5-minute summaries. Now, how does the alerting piece work off of that Silver data? Simple. Another streaming query reads from the silver.campaign metrics table. This is the alerting logic. As new or updated aggregated metrics arrive in Silver, this query applies a filter. It looks for rows that meet the alert conditions we set earlier. For instance, it might filter for cold, CTR, threshold for TR, where threshold for TR could be, say, 1.5.
So it just pulls out the rows from silver where performance is below the threshold.
Exactly. It isolates the problem records. And then there's one final step before logging. Those filtered records, the ones representing an underperforming campaign window, are then enriched. We add extra useful information. The current timestamp as the alert time, the name of the metric that failed, CTR in this case, the actual threshold value, 1.5, and the alert type, performance drop. This fully formed alert record is then written, again in a streaming fashion, to the monitoring.alerts log table. And from there, notifications can be triggered.
Wow. Okay, so it's a continuous flow. Raw data via autoloader to bronze, streamed aggregation into silver, streamed filtering and enriching into the monitoring log for alerts. That makes sense. And the real payoff here, the why this matters, is that it lets marketing teams react quickly to campaign underperformance, much faster than waiting for daily reports.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That speed translates directly into improving agility and ROI. You're plugging leaks in your budget almost as soon as they appear. You stop wasting money on things that aren't working, and you can potentially reallocate that budget to campaigns that are performing well, all within the same day, maybe even same hour.
It's not just theoretical either. Are there big companies actually using similar real-time monitoring?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Think about Spotify Wrapped. It feels like a simple year-end summary, but behind the scenes. Spotify uses real-time tracking of user interaction constantly. And you can bet they have alerts set up for performance drops related to big campaigns like Wrapped. Imagine if the sharing feature suddenly stopped working or engagement dipped way below expectations compared to last year's launch. They need to know instantly. And the scale is huge. 156 million users engaged in 2022, generating 425 million tweets in the first 3 days. Managing that requires real-time awareness.
That's a great example. Any others?
Sure. Think about Zomato, the food delivery platform. They heavily rely on push notifications for offers and updates. They absolutely monitor push notification CTR in real time. If they send out a big promotion and the click-through rate suddenly tanks, that's a critical issue they need to address immediately. So they'd have alerts on drops for that. And even Softonic, the software download site, uses behavior time segmentation with CTR alerts. They're likely watching how different user segments interact with download buttons or ads in real time, getting alerted if specific segments show performance drops.
Right. So these industry giants are already leveraging this kind of real-time alerting for critical operations. It really underscores the practical value of the system we've been describing. It's taking data from being just a historical archive to being, well, a live operational tool.
Exactly. And if we boil down the key technical advantages that make this possible, there are a few core points. First, Autoloader simplifies real-time ingestion from cloud sources. It just makes getting that initial raw data stream much, much easier.
Less plumbing work, basically.
Right. Second, using the Delta format ensures ACID compliance and time travel across layers. ACID compliance means your data updates are reliable, like database transactions all or nothing, no partial updates messing things up. And time travel is huge. It means you can query the data as it was at any point in the past. Great for debugging, auditing, or reproducing results. Unparalleled reliability.
Okay, so reliable data handling. What else?
Third, the windowed aggregation enables rolling KPI calculations. This is how you get those fresh metrics every few minutes, turning that raw stream into ongoing intelligence. And finally, the streaming alerts are lightweight and actionable. The alerting process itself doesn't add significant overhead, and the output is designed for immediate use.
And this system isn't even the end of the road, right? It sounds like a foundation you could build on.
Absolutely. This threshold-based alerting is powerful, but you can extend it with ML for anomaly detection. Instead of just fixed thresholds, machine learning could spot unusual patterns or deviations that you didn't explicitly define, catching even subtler issues. And of course, you can easily hook it up to visualization tools like Power BI dashboards for a live view, or use webhooks to push alerts directly into Slack or email notifications for the team.
Makes sense. So webhooks are just like automated messengers between software.
Pretty much, yeah. A simple way for the alerting system to tell another application like Slack, hey, this just happened, automatically. It opens up lots of integration possibilities.
Okay, so wrapping up, we've journeyed from the chaos of raw campaign data all the way to immediate actionable alerts when things go wrong. We've seen how a layered Delta Lake architecture combined with streaming ingestion and aggregation makes this possible. So what does this all mean for you listening right now and the challenges you might be facing with data overload?
Well, it really brings up a crucial question, doesn't it? We focused on marketing campaigns because it's a clear, high-impact example. But where else could instantly knowing when a key metric goes off track fundamentally change how you operate or make decisions? Think beyond marketing. What about financial indicators, supply chain metrics, website uptime, patient vitals in healthcare? The list goes on.
That's a powerful thought. Where else in your world, your work, maybe even personal projects or tracking, could this kind of rapid, informed response to changing data make a real difference? It's not just about managing campaigns better. It's about leveraging real-time awareness to act smarter, faster, wherever critical metrics are involved. Something to definitely think about.